Hello, Saints. We're really going to begin addressing the book of Galatians that Paul has written uh, to the church in Galatia. It's not to one group, it's in the area of Galatia, which is in about the middle portion of Asia Minor. And there's several groups there. And so he's addressing them all. But something had happened. And this, he gets right to the point. After the nice salutation, hello, hello, to the Jews and to the Greeks in the church, he gets right down to business. His first statement, after he introduces himself in the letter, is verse 6. I am amazed, he says, that you are so quickly deserting him who called you by the grace of Christ for a different gospel. Are you following a different gospel? Within Adventism, there has been an ongoing battle, open battle. This isn't behind the closed doors, over the gospel and salvation issues. And it all stems from our experience back in the mid-50s during the evangelical conferences and the publication of the book Seventh-day Adventists Answer Questions on Doctrine, a book published in October of 57 and simply known by all, referenced by all, as Questions on Doctrine. People have taken sides on this issue, and they haven't even read the book or looked into the history. It's just that they feel one side is more correct than the other. This is a research that you're going to have to do, and I ask that you don't be spoon-fed on it, but that you do your own research and come up with your own conclusions, because you're going to be responsible for your own conclusions. So don't let me or anybody else try to force you into a particular side. I have my side, and I'm very vocal about it. But you have to know for yourself. So that's very important. But he is all very worried about what's going on here. I'm amazed how quickly you have deserted not just the gospel for a different gospel, but by doing that different gospel, you've deserted Jesus Christ himself. And that's what is alarming to Paul. He says you went for a different gospel, which is really not another, he says. Only there are some who are disturbing you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. He says, but even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to what we have in the past, have preached to you, he is to be accursed. Some translations say anathema. Strong language, the strongest language he could use. And it virtually means to be condemned to hell. That's what he's saying. That's how strong he is. In fact, it's so strong that in verse 9 he says, and we have said before, and so I say again now, any man is preaching to you a gospel contrary to what you received, he is to be accursed. Very important for us to grab hold of that, because that's the tenor of the whole book, of the whole letter that he writes to them. This will lay the groundwork for everything he says about the gospel and about what was being taught to the people in Galatia after he had taught them the gospel of Christ. In verse 10 he says, For I am now seeking the favor of man or of God? ? He wants to know, am I seeking to be accepted by you simply by speaking smooth words? Because he had preached the gospel to them, and now they have a different view. So is he just to follow along and keep not stir up any waves? He says, or am I striving to please men? If I were still trying to please men, I would not be a bondservant of Christ. He's already picked his sides, and he picked them for a good reason. I'm connected with Christ and with his gospel, and I won't let you or the Judaizers that come in try to tell me something different and then just settle in and not create waves or upset the boat. He made his position. He's made his stand. You have no question about where he stands and what he wants to do. He's in the open about everything. Even if you want to disagree with it, you know where he stands. You know where he's coming from, without a doubt. And so I appreciate that about Paul. But because of that, Paul has, and historically, traditionally, has had a bad reputation by many as being a little dumpy man who couldn't speak well. Well, I understand not speaking well because I'm not a great orator. And so, yeah, I appreciate what Paul's been doing and how God had used him. Someone who was considered small and insignificant, kind of a dumpy looking guy who couldn't speak. And God used him to write half the book, of half the New Testament. So if you're thinking about yourself, am I worthy to be used by God? He'll use anybody. He'll use a stone if he has to. He'd prefer to use you. And so Paul's already introduced himself and he set the stages on what he's going to start talking about. And we'll pick up on that next time. Blessings.